I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me decluttering, but you were wrong. We are back again. We're doing another declutter, and you're probably wondering, how do you still have stuff to declutter? And I answered this, I think, in my last video, but the answer is children. I always have stuff to declutter because I have growing children. So we are going to tackle a couple different areas today. We're doing a huge declutter of my kids' toys once again, and then we're also revisiting my little office area, which is this cabinet that I got from IKEA. This cabinet serves as my office, and I'm in and out of this cabinet all the time, and it's always a mess. I'm just throwing stuff in there and walking away, and it was time to quickly go through everything and get this all back in order. I did a whole video on this, but if you live in a small home as well and you really struggle with finding a dedicated office space, I would highly recommend that you try out something like this. So I'll try to remember to link that video in the cards right here, but I turned this IKEA cabinet into my desk. You'll see that right under my laptop on that bottom shelf, there is a piece of wood that actually folds out and turns into a desktop. So I can pull a chair up and I can work at this cabinet as if it were my desk. It also has 3 drawers for storage, and it looks nice. At least it does when I have it organized. So that's why we're getting this put back together today, because this is right in the center of my living room where everybody can see it, and when it's a mess, it's a little bit embarrassing. Overall, there was not too much stuff that I needed to declutter, but everything just needed to be put back where it belongs and reorganized. I also have kind of an electronics graveyard going right now because I have a broken iPad that I don't know what to do with. I have at least 2 broken cameras that I don't know what to do with. So I shoved all of those things on the bottom shelf there. You guys will have to let me know. Is there any value in an iPad that has the screen smashed, or in some broken cameras that no longer work? I don't know. I don't know if I should just throw them out or what the best option is. My top drawer of this cabinet is used to store things like pens, highlighters, sticky notes, stuff like that, and it has stayed perfectly organized, but these bottom 2 drawers, or at least this middle one, really needed to be gone through. So I use this to store some craft supplies, and we do actually have a different kind of craft area in the house, but these are the things that I don't necessarily want my kids to get into on a regular basis, so I keep them in my desk with this child lock just to prevent them from going through them. But from constantly going in there and grabbing things for the kids, it was just really a mess. So again, I wanted to pull everything out and kind of go through it and just make sure there wasn't anything in there that didn't need to be, and put it back in a more organized fashion. I think in total from this cabinet, I got rid of maybe like 6 or 7 things, which doesn't sound like much, but considering I've decluttered my entire house this year, that actually is kind of a lot for me. And I do try to regularly go through every single space in my home just to maintain it ever since doing my big declutter. So it felt really good to do this, have everything back in order, and I really don't want to let it get to be a mess like it was again. When I was over there, I happened to notice that the windowsill was disgusting and there was a stain on the wall. I'm really hoping that's chocolate, but we are going to clean that off really quickly. And then I also noticed that my chair that serves as like my desk chair was a mess. It was just covered in cat fur, so I wanted to pull up my vacuum and get that vacuumed off before we move on to the next part of this declutter day, which is going to be a huge project tackling all of my kids' toys in our playroom and in our living room. When the living room starts to look like this, you know it's time for a huge declutter. And I ended up getting rid of, I think, like 3 full trash bags worth of toys after all this. We're starting with the toy chest that we keep in our living room. There was so much stuff in here that my kids just aren't using. And Sutton, my youngest, is now... he's like a little over 2.5, and his interests are rapidly changing, and a lot of the toys that were in here were more geared towards babies, and he's just not really into the baby toys anymore, which makes me really sad. But I had to go through here and just get out all the things that he's not interested in anymore. Now, in the past, I would pack all this stuff up in bins and I would save it for a potential future child, but new me is not doing that anymore. So anything that my kids are not playing with and I can't see them playing with, I'm packing it up and I'm sending it off to donate. I'm not keeping it in my house like I would have in the past. And that includes even the super nice toys, like my Love Every toys, which I absolutely love, and they hold so much sentimental value for me, but I just think that there's someone else out there who maybe can't afford the Love Every play kits who would be so grateful to find this donated Love Every set. So I'm just telling myself that as I pack them up and throw them into trash bags to bring to donate. It's hard for me, but it's definitely worth it for somebody else out there. Okay, quick little intermission here. I have something exciting to share, and this portion of today's video is brought to you by Printify. So we're going to explain a little bit about Printify, how they work, all the things in just a few minutes, and shout out to Printify for sponsoring today's video. But before I get into explaining more about Printify, I wanted to share what I've created with them. So as you guys know, I have been on quite the decluttering journey in 2024, and what started as me just kind of wanting to make my everyday life a little bit more simple, make cleaning up my house a little bit easier, kind of turned into something a little bit life-changing. I started doing a lot of self-reflecting into my spending habits, the reasons why I was holding on to so much stuff, the reasons why exactly all the clutter had collected in the first place. And I feel like kind of a changed person in a lot of ways, which maybe sounds dramatic, but I also feel like a lot of you are feeling the same way that I am, at least based off of my comment section and all my videos. I think we are all just over the overspending, over trying to keep up with trends, over buying things just to impress people, and just in general, over the overconsumption, which is where underconsumption comes in. I don't know if you guys have been seeing all the underconsumption core trends, but I have, and I'm loving it. And I decided to kind of piggyback off of that with my underconsumption club design. So I created this on Printify. This is actually available for you to shop right now on my Printify pop-up shop. Just gonna sit up here so you can see it a little better, but it's just a very minimal design. It says Underconsumption Club established 2024 because this has been my 2024 decluttering journey. This is a Comfort Colors t-shirt. This is in the color Pepper. I also have this shirt available in, I think, like a pink color, and then also in a light green. And I do have it also available in a crew neck in a couple of colors. So I'll show everything on the screen so you can see what is available, and there is a second design as well. So this is my other design. It says also Underconsumption Club, and it's just kind of got like a sun, and like, I guess this is the reflection of the sun off the water, but it's just another kind of minimal design. This is the front of the crew neck. The back does not have anything on it. There's nothing on the back of this t-shirt. I personally don't like walking around with a bunch of words all over my back that people are reading, so I just prefer to not put those on my designs. But yeah, we have this one. I think it's labeled as Underconsumption Club Sun on my Printify pop-up shop, and then this one is just the minimal t-shirt and crew necks. Again, these two designs are both available to shop right now on my Printify pop-up shop, so if you're interested, be sure to click the link in my description box, which will take you to my pop-up shop. And I know what you're probably thinking. This girl is crazy. She's talking to us about decluttering, minimalism, underconsumption, and then here she is trying to sell us a t-shirt. I am not telling you that you have to buy this shirt, but I personally like that it's kind of a conversation starter. Anytime that I pour this out in public, people are like, What is underconsumption? What does that mean? And I feel like it's a good conversation starter. So hopefully it gets people talking about what exactly underconsumption means and the overconsumerism that's kind of going on in our world around us and the world of social media. I had kind of gone back and forth about what I wanted to create on Printify. I was a little bit stumped for a little while, and then I kind of had this epiphany that I don't necessarily need to make merch that has my name all over it. I can just make something that means something to me, and I think also means something to some of my subscribers as well who've been on this decluttering journey with me. And if you're thinking to yourself, what does underconsumption even mean? It's basically just the opposite of overconsumption. So choosing to have less, buy less, and not necessarily fall into all of the traps that social media kind of makes you think that you need these days. So again, my pop-up shop is live now, so you can shop these shirts. I tried to keep the price point as low as I could, and I really hope that you guys like them. And if you do end up buying one, I would love for you to tag me over on Instagram with like a picture so I can see you guys out and about wearing the Underconsumption Club t-shirts. So onto what exactly is Printify. I find Printify to be very interesting, and I think that a lot of my stay-at-home moms who watch my channel, who maybe are looking for a way to make another income at home, might find this very interesting. So I definitely wanted to share a little bit of information about Printify, how to use it, how easy it is to start your own pop-up shop on Printify, or link your Etsy shop, or link your TikTok shop. TikTok shop is going off right now. So if you are looking to sell some products, I would highly recommend that you check out TikTok shop and use Printify to create your print-on-demand product. So what a print-on-demand product is something that you are not physically holding in your inventory. These are things that are being printed when a customer places an order. So you are responsible for creating your design, creating your shop, and publishing all of that, but then Printify kind of does all the heavy work for you because you don't have to carry any of the inventory or worry about shipping or anything like that. It all is created when the customer places the order and shipped directly to them. It is so incredibly easy to get started on Printify. It's free to make an account. They have a massive catalog full of blank products like blank candles, blank t-shirts, blank water bottles, blank hats, blank sweatshirts. Anything honestly you can think of that you would want to put your design on to sell is available on Printify's catalog. You pick a product or products that you'd like to sell, you upload your design. You can then also order samples like I did. And you can link products to your Etsy shop, whether it's new or existing, your Shopify shop if you have one, also TikTok shop like I said, or you can do what I did and you can just open up a Printify pop-up shop. And then you just go ahead and publish your products and you're good to go. It's a super simple and seamless way to launch your own print-on-demand business and make some extra income from home. Printify is the best of the best when it comes to print-on-demand business. They have fast shipping all over the world. They're also super easy to use, and they keep their prices low so that you can keep your margins higher and maximize your profit. I will have my pop-up shop linked down below, as well as just a link to Printify if you'd like to learn more. There are a plethora of tutorials on YouTube on how to start a print-on-demand business and scale your business, so I definitely encourage you to check those out and do some research. I hope that this inspired somebody out there to try out a print-on-demand business on Printify and make some extra income from home. And I just want to say another big thank you to Printify for sponsoring today's video and for making my Underconsumption Club t-shirts possible. And we are back to the decluttering after our little intermission from Printify. I am just going to pick up the rest of the living room. I wanted to start by getting everything put back where it actually belongs. That makes it easier for me to pick things to declutter. When everything is just a mess like this, I find it extremely overstimulating and really hard to focus. We have a basement playroom that we had finished a couple of years ago, and recently my youngest has really discovered that basement playroom and all that it has to offer, and he's been bringing so much stuff upstairs from the playroom. So that is why there's such a large collection of toys up here right now, and it was really important for me to go through everything and get things put away, find a place for things, and get some things brought back down into the playroom where they belong. I love this dresser that we repurposed as like toy storage for our living room. I feel like it looks like a decor piece, but it's actually super functional and it holds a bunch of stuff for us. but I'm going through every single drawer in this dresser to find anything that we can get rid of and just make space for some of the other things that my kids are more interested in that actually need a place up here instead of the stuff that's just sitting here collecting dust. In my video where I had kind of created that small office system with that IKEA cabinet, I believe that's the same video where I refinished this dresser, but I'm super proud of that one. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go back and watch it. But I painted this myself. I refinished this dresser myself, and it looks absolutely beautiful, and it's easily one of my favorite furniture pieces in our home. And I absolutely love the idea of refinishing furniture instead of buying new and reusing things and giving things a second life. So I'm just really, really proud of that green dresser. I think it's beautiful, and it came from generations back in my family, which is really cool. And surprise, surprise, we have more hidden toy storage in our fireplace. Actually, the majority of what's in here is board games. I really need to organize those differently because the packaging that they're in is just so bulky. So I'll probably go through the board games pretty soon and try to organize those better. But on the left side here, I do have some toys that I was using like for my toy rotation system for my youngest. So I'm going through that, grabbing anything that he's no longer interested in, again, so that I can donate. And with that, I ended up grabbing the Love Every block set, which again, it makes me so sad to get rid of the Love Every toys because they are just such good quality. We love them so much, but we just aren't using them. And I know there's somebody else out there who's going to be so appreciative when they find this Love Every block set. Now we're just going to tidy up the living room really quickly one more time before we move on to heading downstairs to go through all of the toys in our basement playroom. And I'll also show you everything I decluttered from just the upstairs portion of this video in just a second. I honestly surprised myself at how much I was able to get rid of just from upstairs. I know that you'd want her to. Yeah, I do. Moving into the basement playroom, like I said, my youngest has really discovered this playroom recently, and he has been just all up in it, making a big mess, pulling everything out. He was with me actually for the majority of me trying to film down here, which was a challenge. But I went into this just feeling ruthless. I was ready to get rid of so much stuff. Sometimes you go into a declutter and you find yourself really struggling to let things go and feeling very sentimental. And then other times, like on this day, you are just ready to let go. And I was so in the mood to declutter, to get rid of a ton of things, and to make cleaning this room so much easier. If you're wondering what is all over the baby while I'm filming this, it was paint. He painted on his own face when he was playing with paint earlier in the day. So that's what that is. He was just covered, but he was living his best baby life, so it's fine. But anyway, he has recently started to get into a lot of the toys that are down here. He has not shown much of an interest in Paw Patrol or any of that until very, very recently, and now he's like obsessed. So I'm really glad that I saved a lot of my older son's toys. However, I had saved a lot of my older son's toys that I just don't think Sutton is ever going to show an interest in. So for example, I remember Carson was really into the show called Rusty Rivets, and I think that was on Nickelodeon, but I don't even know where you can watch Rusty Rivets anymore. And at the end of the day, if I don't introduce Sutton to Rusty Rivets, he's never going to know what it is, and he's never going to be interested in the toys. So I felt like it was okay for me to let go of that stuff because the likelihood of him becoming into that show is pretty slim since I'm not planning to show it to him, if that makes any sense at all. So I kept like the Paw Patrol and the PJ Masks and the stuff that is more likely he's going to be exposed to, but got rid of anything that I just don't plan on introducing him to and that we have no reason to be holding on to. When I pulled out this puzzle and started putting the pieces on, I didn't think Sutton would have any interest in it at all, but he actually did, and he sat on the ground and he played with that puzzle for so long, and I was really surprised because obviously like he's 2.5, he can't read yet, but he did so good. My husband has also recently introduced our oldest son into the original Nintendo. I think that's the original Nintendo right there. And the cords, oh my goodness, they drive me insane. They are all over the place, and I just feel like there is no solution for that type of thing. I feel very lucky though, because this is the only gaming system that we really have in our house that causes any sort of hindrance to me, and we're not a video game family at all. I think we do have an Xbox, but nobody ever uses it, and we don't plan on ever letting our son really, or either of our sons really get into that world. We just do not like video games. We think they are violent and just not really good for our kids' little brains. So they can have their Nintendo Switch and play like Mario and Donkey Kong, but that's about as far as it goes for us. Again, I wanted to tidy up and just kind of clean up the mess in here because I was having a hard time focusing on the decluttering with all of the mess around me. But here's an example of how hard it is to clean with toddlers around. I put stuff back and he immediately went over and took all of it back out. Here we have my trash bag, and we are just gonna start dumping some more stuff in it from into this closet. I feel like there's so much in here that nobody has touched in years and that I just cannot see Sutton being interested in at any point, and that Carson is outgrown, so I just wanted to get rid of all of it. Both of my kids were home, and I just didn't want to deal with either one of them asking me about something that I put into the donation bag. So I decided to grab a contractor bag that was black to shove everything into so that nobody would see what was in the bag and start rummaging through it. I actually forgot one of my bags, so there was a third bag and I forgot to bring it with me, but that's everything I donated. I brought it all to the donation center, and then this was way later on in the day, like around bedtime. I really just felt like I needed to get back down there and continue tidying up. It was very hard to clean with Sutton down there with me, as you guys could see, and I wanted like the full finished product. So I tidied up the rest of the way. I also grabbed my vacuum, which was really not working for some reason. I think it needs to be cleaned. So I grabbed my vacuum and just did the best I could to vacuum up some of the crumbs and the bugs. There's always so many bugs down in our basement. It's awful. And then after that, we will wipe down some surfaces and just continue tidying up so I can show you guys the official after, and it looks so much better. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video and it gave you some motivation to tackle some decluttering or some organizing in your own home. Do not forget to check out my Underconsumption Club t-shirts. If you'd like to be an official member of the club, you got to pick yourself up a t-shirt from my Printify pop-up shop. I will have that link in my description box down below. I'm so excited about it. Again, if you guys buy any of my designs, I would just love for you to post them on Instagram and tag me so that I can see. But again, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bells so you don't miss any of my future uploads. But I hope I'll see you again here next week for another video.